Hello, and this is the first episode of a series of videos I am planning on doing called Walking Theology. Today it is Ash Wednesday. This is the first episode of the series, and as part of a Lenten resolution of mine, I am striving to go on daily walks and doing the series of videos as well as praying the rosary. So I guess what I'll share today specifically something that I found useful in today's homily where I went to Ash Wednesday Mass. I went to St. Adelaide's, and one of the priests there, a holy priest, was talking about specifically what we can do to fast as well as prepare for Lent. And there are a series of things that you can do. I think it is useful to recapitulate some of the key points I found useful in Father's homily. One of them is that, you want to fast of something that you don't need, but that it hurts to fast. And what I mean by that, and what Father meant by that, is specifically that you don't want to give up something that, say, if you drink coffee and it makes you grouchy if you don't drink it, then that's not something you particularly want to give up. If you need it specifically, let's say you do arduous labor and caffeine helps, then you don't want to give up coffee. That being said, something on the other hand that you don't need, in my case, for example, I very much get distracted with my phone. I know it's definitely something I need on me. I do a lot of mobile work. I do a lot of video editing, and just things of that nature. But I know that the phone is also a big distraction of mine. So I am very much cutting back on the notifications that I get and the amount of usage of the phone that I have. So I've been trying to leave my phone behind, when I don't need it. So if I'm going somewhere local, like just a local store in the neighborhood, like a grocery store, and I know I don't need my phone, that's something I've been doing. I've also been trying to cut back the idle times in my day. I know there are a lot of them when I'm not doing anything, and by doing I also mean relaxing, which is essential, but I'm just kind of sitting idle, daydreaming. So that's also a Lenten resolution of mine, and it is your job to kind of do a self-examination and a self-reflection of things in your life that I would call them baggage, or kind of just superfluous things that are more of a distraction and that are keeping you from just being more spiritual and your relationship with God. So that's one of the things I wanted to share. It's how are you preparing for Lent? What are you specifically doing to challenge yourself? The other last thing I wanted to share, I just recently published my new book, The Bible Alone. It is basically a book that is challenging the notion of sola scriptura. So it's challenging the notion of a Bible alone. And in this book, I go into great detail as to the early church and how tradition predates the Bible. In this book, I specifically mention how it is through the Catholic Church by which we got the canon of the Bible. If you read the Bible, there's no list, there's no verse of the inspired books that belong to the Bible. So, in other words, when you read scripture, you take the books that are included in the Bible for granted. But how did we get it? Another thing I look into in this book, it's specifically, what does scripture itself say about the notion of a Bible alone. So in the second part of the book, I look at various extra biblical texts and sources that Jesus and the apostles themselves quote. I don't have any specific reference since I don't have the book in front of me, but I know Jude and many of the disciples like St. Paul quote extra biblical sources such as the Assumption of Moses, as well as the Ascension of Isaiah. And Jesus even alludes to concepts such as Moses' seat, which is not a biblical but an extra biblical saying. Another source that is quoted is the Mishnah, which is a Jewish collection of oral sources. And in the last part of the book that I just published, I look at the logical problems of sola scriptura. I specifically show how historically we can see that this notion of sola scriptura has led to a plethora of different churches, contrary to the intent of Christ in establishing one church, one faith, and one baptism, and being of one mind and one heart. So I hope that you consider looking at this book. I am actually I'll link the I'll leave the link to the Amazon page for the book down below. I am also starting work on a third book, which is proving the existence of God and really looking at the various philosophical, cosmological, and scientific evidence for proving the existence of God. I will focus mostly on St. Thomas's Aquinas's 5 arguments for the existence of God, as well as the cosmological arguments that are part of the Kalam tradition. But I will also use modern contemporary scientific evidence kind of to show how this is probable. There's a lot of research that will go into this book, and a lot of books that I will need to conduct this research. So if you want to consider donating any amount, I will also leave the link so you can donate whatever amount you can. Anyways, God bless. I hope you enjoyed this short reflection. Please let me know what you think, and please consider subscribing and liking this video. God bless, and I hope you have a good day and a good Lenten season.